Right, so previously we did all the monsters of Monster Hunter World, as you can see, and now we're on to the juicy bit, which is the monsters of Iceborne, the Master Rank expansion, which by the way I absolutely loved and played the hell out of, and I feel they really did up the ante with a lot of these monsters. You may notice, I don't know if you probably did, but I did change around some of these monsters a little bit just in preparation for the Iceborne monsters, because I feel like a lot of these Iceborne ones are going to really tank a lot of the World ones, because they did just improve on them a lot, which is good, because the World monsters base game wise were a little bit on the weaker side compared to other entries and newer entries. But without further ado, I'll just quickly go over what I've changed. So I did put Tobi-Kadachi above these two. I did put some of the earlier monsters above some of the other ones. I've moved down Legiana because that monster does just piss me off. I did also put Teostra down. Unfortunately, I was thinking about it. I prefer all of these above Teostra. I just feel like Teostra, it is a cool Elder Dragon. But design-wise, I don't know, it just doesn't really hit it for me, so I put that down a little bit. I did put Gyarados up because I do like the fish design a little bit. Its design isn't bad, but compared to these other monsters, they're all like pretty weak in terms of design-wise, fight, etc. But enough of that. We'll just start focusing on the Master Rank monsters. So undoubtedly, an actual decent Piscine Wyvern, to be fair. The first one in forever, probably, to be honest. Going for that shark vibe and swimming around in the snow does actually work. So, for Beatodus, I'll be fair to it, I'd probably put it there. I actually really do like it. I think it's quite cool. It was a nice introduction to Iceborne. We didn't actually get a lot of ice monsters in World. I think literally Legiana, looking at it now. Wow, yeah, Legiana is the only ice monster, so yeah, we really did need an ice monster, and with Beatodus, we also got Banbaro. Now, Banbaro is a very, very good monster. One thing I just forgot to mention about Beatodus, by the way, is the armor's really cool, and it does also have a really sick turf war with Banbaro. Even though it is copied off Gyarados and Barroth, it still kind of works. But Banbaro, we don't actually get enough like herbivore monsters that are actually threatening, which also adds to that ecosystem sort of element and the realism of Monster Hunter. I feel like with all these giant carnivores roaming around, you definitely would have some like tanky herbivores to like, you know, combat against those. But I love Banbaro, a big moose like monster. It's just so cool to look at. It has like the move where it has the tree and it charges with the tree, and I think it changes actually with each locale it's in, which is the only thing I don't like about the monster. I don't know why it's an invader species. I don't know why a monster with that thick fur coat is able to go in the Elder's Recess and the desert. Like, it just doesn't make sense, but someone to explain to me why that makes sense and maybe I'll understand. But the armor's so sick. I love going around the Iceborne village, just like this big sort of chief Viking aesthetic looking armor. I love Banbaro, and I'm so glad we actually did get a decent like herbivore. And mate, for me, Banbaro's there. I love it. I'm tempted to even put it above Valhazak, but Valhazak is dope, so I'll leave Valhazak there. But yeah, that's cool. Viper Tobi-Kadachi is interesting. It does look cool. Definitely leans more towards like the snake kind of look. Does the paralysis and the poison, but it's okay. I like the normal one a bit more, but I do also really like Viper Tobi-Kadachi. I think it's actually a pretty decent subspecies, being in the snow. Like I said, it does the paralysis and the poison, but yeah, I like the snake vibe it's got going. I think it's alright. So, Nightshade Palumu. Again, I'm not a fan of the Palumus in general. I actually do think it's worse than the original one, unfortunately. This one does sleep and poison. The colour's quite creative, but I just felt they could have maybe done something else. I don't know. It's alright, but yeah, it's nothing really got going for it, unfortunately. Coral Pukapuku is really cool. It literally is just Coral Highlands version of Pukapuku, which I really do appreciate. I really do like the colours. It is very goofy and like very flamboyant and crazy, but I think I do like the normal one a lot better. It's a lot more unique, and it kind of sets the tone. Whereas like the coral one, I like how it like drinks out of the water in those big like water sort of plant things. But yeah, it's okay. But it suits that area. It suits the element that it's got, and I think it's great. But the normal one is better. Right. Barrioth. Now, Barrioth is, design-wise, he does look cool. You know, a Sabertooth. He was originally introduced in Monster Hunter 3, and I remember seeing him for the first time, and I was terrified, but it is a very annoying monster to fight. That's the only thing that it draws back for me. However, I still think he is pretty sick, but he ain't going any higher than that, bro, because he is so freaking annoying, and they brought him back in Rise for some reason, and it's just, his moveset's annoying. He's just constantly flying and moving around, which I guess he would as like a cat monster, but it suits the is it the Ice Shard? No, that's Wild. Hoarfrost Reach, that's it. He suits that area really well, and like I like it when he tangos with Bambaro a bit, but his weapons are cool, his armor's really sick. Kind of want to put him higher. I actually do like him a bit. Again, very annoying, but he has a lot of good qualities that do bring him up a little bit, but are you that high? We'll leave him there for now, but he's on thin ice. Very thin ice. Now, Nagakuga, kind of like the first edgelord monster like introduced into the franchise, but I did like his integration into World. I like his intro cutscene. His weapons are very, very good. They've got a lot of sharpness on them, and his moveset's just kind of all over the place. His roar is cool. I love his rage mode, where he gets like the red eyes and he's like super quick. But where do I put him? I feel like he is an S tier monster, to be honest, but for me, I think he's just great. You know, he's really cool, he's solid. Again, I feel like with the next, like, 4 monsters that we've got coming up, same with Barrioth, is because they've kind of returned quite a lot, it's hard to really cement them into, like, any higher than the tier that they're already on, because I've just seen so much of them. But I love Nagakuga, I think it's awesome. Glavenus. Now, Glavenus was actually one of my favourite monsters for quite a period of time. Well, first when I actually saw it, when it was announced, I thought it was over-designed, and then I fought it in World, and I loved the heck out of it, but it's still a really sick monster. I still want to put it in S tier, because it is really sick, you know. It's a T-Rex with a great sword for a tail, and it's on fire. Like, what more could you love than that? But, yeah, awesome moveset. He's absolutely relentless. I love when he, like, sharpens his tail with his mouth. His introduction with Rathian's really cool, kind of paying a homage to the ecology scene, and I think it was like Monster Hunter Generations, I think it was. They just did a missed opportunity on the actual greatsword itself. Like, it should have just been the tail. I don't know why it wasn't. But he is still a set monster. Love the colour scheme of it. The armor's pretty dope. I think it's got like a lot of critical skills. I can't quite remember, but yeah, I love Glavenus. He's cool. Tigrex. Tigrex just generally does represent kind of what I said the same about Nergigante, of just being a monster that doesn't need an element. It just carries itself, and for that it does just get... Oh, I do love Tigrex, you know. I really do love Tigrex. I think it's an amazing monster. It's a classic monster. Its rage mode is so cool. How like the red veins go up on its wings and its like face. I remember just being terrified of this monster back in the day. And in World, they really did give it a glow up. It looks so cool. Its cutscene with Radaban's sick as well. I like how it's in the Rotten Vale, but I think it is an invaded species as well, which I kind of buy, to be honest. But yeah, just relentless monster. awesome moveset, and it just feels satisfying as how to fight, and, you know, it's the raw monster, so, yeah, really cool. Brachydios is actually my third favourite monster, actually, is it? Third or fourth, I can't quite decide between another one that we've got coming up soon, but first monster actually to ever introduce the blast element, I believe, that's right, correct me if I'm wrong, back in 3 Ultimate, but in World, it's just such a cool monster, I love it, the design is sick, you know, it's so unique with the slime and the symbiotic relationship it's got with that as well. Its weapons look cool, armor kind of makes you look like a Power Ranger, so I'm not a fan of that, but yeah, I love it, it suits the area that it's in as well. It has a Turf War of Rathalos, I believe, but the problem with Iceborne is a lot of the monsters do share the same turf wars, which kind of make them less impactful. I would rather have less copied and like it just be unique to like certain 2 monsters. That turf war, I think there's another monster that shares it, but I hope it is just Brachydios and Rathalos that has it, because it works, but he doesn't use his slime in his turf wars, which is a shame, because he would, that's his main thing, but, you know, love the monster, it's amazing, nothing bad to say about it, it's awesome and I'll love him forever. Shrieking Legiana. To be fair to it, it does do what I feel like Legiana lacked, which was more ice element, so it's definitely better than that one. Part of me wants to put it in here, to be honest. I actually do like this one. It does still have some of the annoying qualities with Legiana, but I like the look of it more. It has the ice on it. It just looks, any like ice element monster I dig, because there's not enough of them, and I'm a big fan of like ice element in general. I think it just looks slick and appealing, especially the armor as well for this one. It kind of does the same as what Frostfang Barioth does for Barioth, where it's just the same arm but covered in ice, so that's cool. Slick looking weapons. I do like the area that you fight it in as well. There's like loads of Legianas around, that's cool. And I think when you first fight it, you do actually fight it with a normal Legiana, so that's quite sick, but yeah, I put it there. I actually think, no, I'll leave it there. Right, Folga Ajanath now. He's definitely in this tier. I don't know if I prefer him to the normal one. I'm really not sure, but I do think his like design with the electricity, especially in Wilds. I mean, in World it still looks great, but in Wilds it looks amazing. I know we're talking about World and Iceborne, but it's the colour of it. Like, it's got this tiger sort of skin tone face, and then the body's like a grey with all these black stripes, and you've got like the blue sort of complementing it as well. And you see all the electricity and like the wings and the mouth. It looks something like straight out of a Godzilla, where it's got the blue sort of glowing in its mouth. And I appreciate that they brought this one back, well, brought this one into Iceborne and gave Ajanath a subspecies, because I do think it is deserved. But I love the move where it like shoots across the screen. Its armor's really cool. But yeah, Folga Ajanath's really sick, and the tone of it's like raw. When you actually hear the lightning kind of crackle in its mouth, it's just so satisfying. Another Glavenus, Acidic Glavenus. Now, I kind of wish, with Acidic, I wish they kind of borrowed off Brachydios a little bit. I feel like that would have helped it a little bit more, and be a little bit more interesting. Because the problem is, it's like, obviously, Acidic, like, I guess Brachydios is slime, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more with it. The acid doesn't really do much from what I can remember. I think it does defense down, but I really do like who he sort of takes on this like knight sort of samurai kind of thing, where it's sort of like dancing around with its sword like sort of up, as if it's actually like trying to, I don't know, like plan its next move. It is a cool monster, and I do like the colour of it a lot, but it's not better than the other one. But it is still sick. I do prefer it to you lots. Yeah, I think that's fair. Acidic Glavenus is cool. The colour, like I said, the colour's sick. But I just wish they kind of did a bit more of the acid. I feel like there was a little bit of a missed opportunity there, but does have a sick Turf War Odogaron, one of the best in the game. Speaking of Odogaron, the Ebony version now. I'm so conflicted between these two because they both just like tear shit up and they're both just like fucking crazy. On paper, this one should be better because it is just more edgelord than the normal one. You know, you're giving Odegar on the dragon element, like, there's not really much else to say, but I don't think it lands as much as the first. It's turf war, not its turf war, well, technically a turf war, but its intro is probably one of the best intros in the game where it fights the normal Odegar on. So sick. But, yeah. I don't know, actually, if I do prefer it more to some of these... Oof. See, my recent fight of it is in Wilds, where it does get thrown around a lot. I do like Black Diablos a lot, to be fair. I think I'm going to do something like that. I think I do prefer the normal one more. I think it's a little bit more simplistic. I feel like the Oboni one is really sick, but I don't know, the normal one just kind of hit it a bit more for me, but the Oboni one is still amazing. Its Master Rank armor is really sick, actually. No. Yeah, it's better than Black Diablos, to be fair, I can't lie. Next on the list, we have Valkana, the flagship of Iceborne. Now, I, again, said I am a sucker for, like, ice monsters, especially, like, ice dragons. Valkana is a very cool monster. I'm going to put Valkana... The problem is, I'm really trying to save the S tier for, like, some of these other monsters that are coming up, because some of them are going straight to there. Especially a lot of the later endgame ones, so... But I know Valkana is a really solid monster. I think it is a bit better than Kushala. Even though I do kind of prefer Kushala more, I feel like Valkana just hits home every angle. It's got a great theme, like the piano, kind of like elegant piano it's got going. I love when you first see it, like, get the horn in the cutscene. How it has that sort of different stance between having its, like, ice armor and not. Its armor's, you know, suits what it is. Its weapons do as well. I love the last area that you fight it in. It's all this, like, blue ice with, like, this sort of, like, pink sort of sunlight coming down. What else have I forgot about it? Great fight, you know, great addition to the franchise. You know, perfect flagship for the game. It's just a solid monster. Seething Basilgeuse. Again, Iceborne really did the subspecies very well, and I'm excited to see what Wilds does for theirs, but it's hard to decide which ones are better, because it is really just a sick monster. It's Basilgeuse just elevated to, like, a fucking 20, and it does that massive, like, one-hit move where it, like, nukes itself into the ground. But I'm a fan of just, like, the original versions a lot, I feel like. I don't really like the blue stuff that it drops, to be honest. I don't know why they really needed to add that, but it's still a sick monster. I love the concept of it as well, and its armor is so sick to look at. But again, the normal one has that as well, but just sit it next to Basilgeuse, I think, is fair. Black Veil Hazak, which it's white, but I quite like how they called it that. It's got the whole mushroom spore thing that it does. I don't think it's as better as the first one, though, unfortunately. I like how it's in the ancient forest. That's quite cool. And it is very eerie, especially like the first time you see it. It's almost something like out of Alien, where it's like has that mouth come around the side of the tree. So I really do appreciate that about it. But I don't think it's really... It's somewhere with these three, I feel. It is a really cool monster, but it doesn't... Yeah. It's kind of just the same as the first one, but the first one looks a bit better. I don't really have much to say on it. Its armor's really sick, I will give it that, but the first one just... It's hard to, like, elevate the original monster when the original monster's, like, already an S-tier monster. So the subspecies can only really go one way, where it's, like, completely opposite. Something like, you know, Ajnath, where, like, you can't really elevate it a bit, just take it to like being electric, whereas this one I feel just kind of does the same things as the normal one. But yeah, oh my god, I completely forgot about this monster. I think I do prefer it to Valhazak, to be honest. Namiel is just amazing. It's so unique. We haven't really had many monsters, from what I can remember, that control 2 elements. How it literally electrifies the water, and it's bioluminescent when you first see it. Even its armor is bioluminescent, which just looks so cool. The fight in general is really sick. I love how like there's just constant waves everywhere. I think this monster would have benefited a little bit more being in like almost its own unique area. I feel like we need like a more... Again, I don't really know where you'd put it, but maybe someone that's a bit more water-based. But the fact that it like controls the water, I really do like. But I wish, again, it was like near an area where there actually was water to make it a little bit more believable. But yeah, I love how it's different like modes that it goes in, kind of like Mitsune, where it gets like dehydrated almost. But Namiel is just such a cool design. An electric water Elder Dragon. I don't really know what more you could ask for there. Savage Devil Joe. Now, I kind of ate my own words here a little bit. This is the one subspecies where I do feel like actually works. And there is another one that's coming up that I can think of, but the Savage Devil Joe is just Devil Joe times 10. Like, literally, it's just got the Elder Dragon, like... Elder Dragon? Dragon element just literally bursting out of it. Like, it almost looks like it's zombified almost. It's like muscles are all pulsing, it's all gross, and it's just absolutely terrifying when you see it for the first time in Master Rank. The Turf Wars as well are amazing. I love how it just fights every Elder Dragon. You know, it really just supplements itself as like one of the strongest monsters, how it can do that, and I love that about it. It just makes it so cool. And like I said, Devil Joe's one of my favourite monsters, so... Well, second favourite monster if we're going to be exact. So, yeah, Savage Devil Joe, just it takes all the cake, man. Ruin and Urgigante, I do actually prefer to the normal one. I feel like it has a bit more going for it. I really am eating my own words here with some of these subspecies or variants. But yeah, it's just the fawns with metal. And it's got a sick cutscene with Sharish Valda as well, which we've got coming up next. But with this one, actually, I can't remember how you unlock it. I think you need to be like a certain hunter rank or something like that. It's really late in the game when you do actually unlock this fight. I never think I actually did properly fight it, unfortunately. And I do want to go back to World eventually, so I might do that then. But yeah, I feel like for me, Ruin and Urgigante was what I was kind of missing from the normal version. So I'm really happy with that, and I think it is better than the normal one. Right, now we're getting some of the beefy cakes of the monsters now. So, mate, I haven't put really anything lower than mid with these Iceborne monsters. They really did, like, bring it home, because World was so, like, mid, and then Iceborne just really took it to the next level. Sharish Valda. I do prefer it to Xeno. I actually prefer it to Barioth. I think I also prefer it to you. I really do like Kirin, so I'm going to put Sharish Valda there. Great final boss, one of the best ones. It does have that fan theory where people said like it actually looks at the hunter and it's actually like looking at you in the camera with its pupils. Does have a really set of cool moves with like the sound that it's got going. Like it does that one where it gets its wings and it has that like beam that it does. Really cool final move. I don't really like the first stage of the fight where you fight like this form. I don't really feel like we needed that, to be honest, but it did make for a cool reveal, so I will give them that. Really great armor, look-wise and skill-wise, to be honest. I can't remember what the weapons look like, to be honest, but yeah, it's got that sort of like Egyptian thing going on, I think it is, so yeah, Sharish Valda is cool. Right. Okay, so now we're getting into post-game territory. Zinogre is my third favourite monster, so you've got pretty much like all of them here, almost my top 5. Yeah, Zenoga's great. There's so much to say about him. His fight is just so amazing. In Rise, I feel like it was a lot easier, but in Master Rank, it's like you're really actually fighting to survive this monster. You know, you're trying to not get it into the electric state, you're trying to make sure you do enough damage whilst it does like that kind of move where it stands there and like absorbs the Fulgur bugs. Is it Fulgur bugs? Fulgur bugs? What are they called? I think I'm thinking of something else, but the electric bugs that it has like the relationship with. But its intro cutscene's sick, where it like takes on Rathalos and Diablos, and it kind of looks at the hunter as well with like a side eye. I think that's really cool how they did that. But I'm pretty sure Zenoga's rated like the most favourite monster in the most recent poll they did of like all time, and it's warranted. It's just design wise, it's a Thunder Wolf Wyvern. It literally is its title, so it deserves that, man. It's a great monster. I love the hell out of it. I love its roar. What turf wars does it have in this game? Can't quite remember. Armor looks cool. Love the moveset it does. I like the move where it kind of like bashes down on its back. That one's terrifying as hell. But yeah, Zenoga's amazing, man. It's just an edgelord monster, bro. I absolutely love it. Yain Garuga, or Garugu, the bully to Yain Kutku. Now, to be fair, we don't actually get a lot of high rank bird wyverns, so it definitely does have that carries it, and I really do love the design, man. I think it's amazing. The fight's a little bit meh, but it does have a lot of quirks. Like, it has the sound thing that it does, and it does it in its intro cutscene with Devil Joe, which is quite cool how it holds its own. Haven't fought it in a while, but fun little fact about Yain Garuga, in Freedom, yeah, Monster Freedom, this was actually my wall that made me stop playing the game. I actually couldn't beat Yain Garuga because it was too hard. So that's fun. I did not expect them to bring it back to Iceborne or World, so that was a nice little surprise. It was actually like one of the few monsters I didn't actually know about was in the game, so that was a really cool surprise. I can't quite remember what its weapons and armor look like, but I feel like they are. I do remember being quite cool, actually. I can't remember much of the fight, apart from it just sort of being a bit, you know, just standard. So Yain Garuga belongs there. The scarred one, honestly, I don't really remember the difference of the fight in general, apart from obviously it has a scar in its head, like its face. I think there is even a deviant that has the like red eye thing as well. It's just, there's not much to do with it, so I'm just gonna put it next to the normal one. Not really anything to say about it, to be honest. Gold Rathian. Oh, Gold Rathian. Now, I remember Gold Rathian and Silver Rathalos being tough, like really tough, and I love the armor that they have, where it's just the normal armor, but like gold and silver. So, where do I put you? Oh, they are really cool. Do you know what? I actually want to put Bambara up a little bit, because I actually really do like that monster. Yeah, I think that's fair, and I'm going to put Silver Rathalos just the... Oh god, Silver Rathalos is cool. I actually do kind of prefer him a little bit to Valhazak, to be honest. I think they're just sick. You know, I love how their fire's blue. That's really cool, nice little detail they added there. I don't think they ever had that in the old games. Do you know what, actually? Valhazak, yeah, we'll leave that there, but their armor's sick, the fight's really cool. It definitely feels different from their normal versions as well, which is quite hard to do with something like Rathalos and Rathian, especially when like you've got Azure Rathalos and Pink Rathian so low that I feel like that's what Silver Rathalos and the Golden did. They actually made the fights like endgame for Rathalos and Rathian, so they definitely deserve to be in that tier, in my opinion. Brute Tigrex, I don't think it... I remember it being cooler, but to be honest, it's alright. I think, honestly, I'd probably just put it like... put it there. It doesn't hit the same as the normal one. To be honest, I'd probably put it even lower. no, we'll put it there. But it doesn't really do anything different apart from like it roars actually damage you. The armor does look cool, but it doesn't. I don't even think you really even need a subspecies of Tigrex. I feel like Tigrex is already cool on its own. I don't know. The Brute one's alright. It's a bit. I don't mind the colours and the look of it. It's quite cool, but meh. Oh mate, Rajang, what a monster. I actually hated the look of this monster the first time I saw it, like back in the old days. And if there's a monster that screams terrifying, that looks into your soul, it's this monster. Rajang is dope. He's grown on me so much. He's like the Super Saiyan monster. I could talk about Rajang for ages. I love his lore with Devil Joe. They've kind of got like a King Kong Godzilla thing going on. The Turf War's sick as well. But he's just such a dope monster, man. I love the whole, like, when it lights up with the electricity. It's just absolutely terrifying to fight. The first title update monster, I like how in Iceborne was Rajang, and then in World it was Devil Joe. So that's cool how they did that. Has a sick lore with Kirin as well. I completely forgot about that. Where it eats the horns to actually gain its electrical powers. And it's, yeah, like the Goku of Monster Hunter. Rajang's actually, yeah, it's great. I love Rajang so much, so definitely belongs there. Stygian Zinogre is amazing. It is a really sick monster. On paper, it's kind of got the same thing as a Doggeron. It should be better as the normal one. It's just Zinogre, but black and like a red electricity, so it should be better. But for some reason, it doesn't really strike the same as the normal one, although I do still think it's dope. The armor is one of the best looking armor sets in the game, and I like how you have to kind of get that and fight it, how they were setting that up to fight Safi Jiva. So, yes, Stygian's awesome. I'm glad he did get a bit of a glow up from his previous entries, and I can't really remember too much different from the fight, but I think he does suit being in the Ice Claw, word vomit. I keep calling it Ice Shard Cliffs. It's the Hoarfrost Reach. Sorry, I've been playing so much Wilds, but Hoarfrost Reach, it really suits that area while it fits in quite nicely. Solid monster. Safi Jiva. The adult form of Xenojiva. This monster, I feel like, really did take the fan base by a lot of storm. Although its design is a typical just red dragon, I actually think that is what sort of... like, with Monster Hunter, the strongest element is the dragon element. Elder dragons are known as like the strongest beings, so a dragon in its purest form should be one of the strongest monsters in the game. I feel like that actually makes sense. Kind of what Fatalis is like a little bit as well. I love the design of it. I'm a big fan of like the Western Red Dragon kind of look, and it literally is its title, the Red Dragon. I love how like the fandom have kind of made a bit of lore with it, fighting Fatalis and who's stronger. Its armor is fucking sick. Skill-wise, it's pretty interesting as well. Its weapons are dope. It's the same system as the Kolv Taroth, where the hub are fighting it. Love how it's like actual kind of powers aren't just fire, it's actually like the energy from the new world. I thought that was a really cool thing they did with it. It's kind of like a finishing chapter of that sort of concept that they did. And obviously you've got Sapphire of the Emperor, one of the visually most pleasing like monster moves in the whole of the franchise, where you just see the little like blue flame drop down and yeah, I love it. It kind of gives me Smaug vibes if you've ever seen The Hobbit. But yeah, I think Safi Jiva is an amazing monster, really cool, and an amazing fight as well. Furious Rajang is still cool. Again, doesn't really... I know it is just Rajang, like, elevated, like how Savage Devil Joe is for Devil Joe, but I feel like with Rajang, I like seeing it being like a normal monkey, and then going into the electric state. I feel like that's actually part of what makes Rajang quite cool. I really don't want to put Rajang, like, Furious Rajang low, but I don't know, like, that just really does something for me. Although the armor is really sick, it's much better than the other one. Same with the weapons as well. And it is a tough fight, like, it doesn't stop. And I like the lore, how it's furious because it's got a tail topped off. That is quite sick, so... I think that's fair, to be honest. I like it there. I've just realised how many of these monsters I'm putting into, like, perfect and great. Excuse me. Compared to the last video. Wow, okay, I completely forgot about you. I actually do prefer Rage and Brachydios to Brachydios. I tell a lie. Brachydios is like my fourth favourite. Rage and Brachydios is my fourth favourite monster. You fight it in the Guiding Lands, and I actually... One thing I didn't like about Brachydios was how small it was. And whereas Rage and Brachydios is huge, I love the lore with it. How, like, the slime's kind of taken over and it's actually making it, you know, rage and, you know, being quite mad. And the fight is one of the best fights in Iceborne. I love how it kind of feels like it's actually like a bit of a boxing match, and it's just like you and him in the last stage of that arena where it like bashes down and all the walls come up and you actually can't get out. So that's amazing, and it makes the armor and the weapons look a lot better as well. But yeah, I absolutely love... One thing I've got to mention about Zenogre is his theme is amazing. But Rage and Brachydios' theme is my favourite Monster Hunter theme. I absolutely adore it, and I'm so happy that they actually brought this monster back alongside Furious Rajang. I think it was a really cool update that they did. So yeah, love that monster. Right, so Frostfang Barioth. Now, does the same sort of thing that Shrieking Legiana did for Barioth, although I actually feel Frostfang Barioth is a lot better than Barioth. I think what it does to me is design-wise, it makes it a much better monster with the variant that it has, where it's a Barioth that's essentially survived in like a blizzard. I think that's such a cool lore aspect. The armor is so cool. It kind of reminds me of like the Arc Temper Jinder had armor that we've got previously in Wilds. But yeah, it was just a surprise monster. We didn't even need this. I feel like we already had so many monsters with the Iceborne updates. But Frostfang Barioth really is tough. I think you have to fight him tempered as well, from what I remember. But he is still obviously the same Barioth. He's still got the same annoying moveset, but design-wise, it's just so appealing. How it's got the ice on its teeth and the wings. I absolutely love it. I think it's sick. Ooh, here we are, down to the last two monsters, the Black Dragons of Monster Hunter. Now, you actually fight Elatrion first, so we'll do Elatrion first. Oh, this is tough. It's definitely in this S tier. I think Elatrion is actually probably one of my top 5 monsters. I remember when it came out and the controversy around this monster was nothing like I've ever seen or heard before in Monster Hunter. Although I do think the SCON judgment thing, and I've said this before with Omega, I'm getting a little bit sick of DPS checks in Monster Hunter. I feel like it's a little bit tedious and a little bit just like being hard for hard's sake, and it kind of just comes down to numbers rather than actually, like, you know, down to your skill set as a hunter. So that takes away from it a little bit, but design wise it's amazing. I love the lore, how it actually fears Safi Jiva, and it's actually came over to the New World to destroy its nest because it sees it as a threat. Like, that's such cool lore in Monster Hunter, and that's what I love so much, is when they give personalities to these monsters. And I love how it switches between all the elements, fire, dragon. It's got some amazing moves where, like, it will spit out the water and then, like, ignite it, or like the icicles will get electrified, so it kind of combines its elemental attacks, and I think that's just such a sick idea. I love how you have to break the horns to kill it. It's huge as well, and I appreciate how you actually fight it in just one area. It doesn't move, it just stays there, and it literally faces you like, you know, what you'd expect from a black dragon. So yeah, Elatrion's one of my favourite monsters. I absolutely love it. I know a lot of people do hate it. I mean, a lot of people love it, but a lot of people at the time were annoyed by it. I think just because of the Escalon Judgment thing, which I do understand, to be fair. But the armor's great, weapons are great. I remember fighting it, and I don't know if this was a glitch at the time, but I don't think I killed it till like my 30th try, because I was a solo hunter through the whole of Iceborne. So I never actually had like a team with me, but I remember obviously I have to just go with Randy, so that's what made it a bit harder to, like, obviously, because with this fight you have to communicate, but I don't really like how you're forced to use... I don't know, thinking about it now, I feel like it makes sense. Like, you're fighting an elemental Elder Dragon, it does make sense that you would have to bring an elemental weapon, so I do like that, but it just made it very hard to fight. But off topic, I remember fighting it for, like, it took me 30 times to kill, and I think for like the first 8 times, because at the end of the quest when you fail, sometimes you get like a couple part rewards, I think, depending on how far you got through the quest. But I think like the first 8 times I got on Mantle, like every time. So I don't know if that was a glitch or not, so let me know if that happened with you guys as well. But I could sit here talking about Elatrion for days, I fucking love it. Fatalis, the Black Elder Dragon. Probably the strongest monster in the lore of Monster Hunter, aside maybe from Safi'jiiva. I feel like those two are on par. Maybe Fatalis is a bit stronger, you know, but I feel like they have said Safi'jiiva is his equal. It was such a perfect way to end Iceborne, man. The design of it is just so cool. Like, it's just a typical dragon, but it just looks so mighty and terrifying. It looks like a king, like a god. And you know, I love where you fight it, the lore they brought into it of Castle Strade. I love the lore how, you know, if you wear its armour, you turn into a Fatalis, even though it's a little bit cheesy, I think it's still quite cool. And I love its move where, like, it will grab you and, like, burn you on its chest as if it's, like, mocking you as a hunter. You know, as obviously we wear monsters' armours, Fatalis is kind of doing that with its chest, where it has, like, dead hunters that are moulded into its fiery chest, which I think is just so fucking dope. But the armor's great, weapons are cool, the fight is absolutely amazing. I've never actually killed Fatalis yet. I've fought it, but it's so hard. But it's not in a hard as like bullshit sake, I feel like, for something like Elatrion. I feel like it's actually hard because the moveset of the monster is hard. Obviously it does hit hard as well, but it's terrifying to fight. I tried fighting it recently and it's so hard. But I am determined to kill it one day, so that will happen, and mark my words. But the ultimate move it does with the fire that just, it covers the arena. You know, obviously that's how it would have destroyed Castle Strade in the lore. And obviously when you hit it with a Dragonator, proof of a hero plays, and it's just, it's an amazing fight, and it was the perfect way to end Iceborne, I feel, as well. But I mean, yeah, looking at that, I feel like Iceborne definitely needed to bring in some really cool monsters, because World was really lacking when it first came out, as we saw in the previous video. So Iceborne's great. It's the best master rank roster I feel like we've got so far. Obviously some could argue Generations and etc, but New World onwards, so far it's one of the best, and all the monsters are great, the fights are amazing, and honestly I have nothing bad to say about it. I'm just trying to look through it now to see if I've put all of that right, but just a lot of them are just so good. Yeah, I can't argue with that. So let me know what you guys think as well. Let me know if there's anything there you'd change, or anything else you disagree with, or anything you agree with. Let me know you'd put some of them in the tiers as well, and we will be doing another tier list video soon. I need to do Rise, because I've also played through Rise, so I'll get that coming to you guys soon as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed, and hope you have a good day. So take care.